Now, earlier today, Anthony Albanese brought his Labor politicians to Canberra for the first time since the election win, and it was party time.
The time is now to give it up for Australia's Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese.
Now, fair enough, Labor finally won a federal election and they are entitled to be happy and to celebrate. And I give the Prime Minister huge credit, again, for saying, be humble, be nice, reach out. Huge credit. I like that style. But he did say two things that, again, spell trouble, real danger. The first was this.
Can I begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land in which we meet? Pay my respect to their elders, past, present and emerging, and commit on behalf of my government to the implementation of the Uluru Statement from the Heart.
And to repeat, that Uluru Statement is to change our constitution, to divide us by race, to create a kind of advisory parliament just for Aborigines called The Voice, which is going to be a step towards apartheid, separate nations. You already see Labor now flying the Aboriginal flag and the Torres Strait Islander flag in the government party room there. Now, this plan of Labor's is not just racist, it is totally unnecessary. If you really believed in racial equality, if that's what you believed in, we should be celebrating. We should be celebrating and think we've reached it now, because Aborigines already have a voice in our real parliament, just like every other Australian. In fact, it is a stronger voice, because there are now 10 politicians in federal parliament who identify as Aboriginal, which means they make up 4.4% of our 227 federal politicians, when Aborigines actually make up just 3.7% of all Australians. So in federal parliament, they have a voice. And on the basis of those numbers, it is a louder voice than other Australians. Why would you need to stick in the Constitution a proposal now for another parliament, advisory for now, just for Aborigines? It doesn't make sense. But there was another arrogant thing that Albanese said today to his politicians, an arrogant promise.
We will end the climate wars.
Now, what does that even mean? We will end the climate wars. What does it mean? That somehow the rest of us will stop, be forced to stop pointing out the truth? We'll have to stop saying that a lot of the predictions of climate doom were false. There was no Tim Flannery. I forget completely all those dud predictions. That we aren't at all in a climate emergency. We're living longer than ever. Chance of dying in terrible climate-related disasters is less than in human history, I believe. Are we going to stop saying that Labor's plans will actually cause huge pain without actually changing the climate? No, that's not going to happen, because right now we should be telling Labor, guys, settle down, look at Europe. Right now, Europe went green big time and is now so short of power that it's facing rationing of electricity if next winter is another cold one. British government ministers got an official briefing over the last few days warning that 6 million British households could be short of electricity, and electricity rationing could be needed for months if Russia cuts off gas supplies. Now, of course, blame Russia. But that's not the whole story at all. Because Britain banned fracking, like Victoria's government has done, closed coal-fired power stations, dialed down on uranium. We don't even allow uranium, all in a mad push to go for renewable energy instead. But all that solar and wind it's invested in just can't make up the difference. For one, it's too unreliable, of course. If the wind stops blowing for months, as we saw early this year, late last year, then power prices, well, they soar. We saw that in Europe, across Europe. Now here we're already seeing the same sort of thing. Last week you learned that your power bills will go up by as much as 18%, and they will keep rising for a couple of years. New South Wales, for instance, is going to lose its Liddell coal-fired power station next year. And where is all the renewable energy going to come to replace it 24/7 and keep down power prices? Now, don't worry, says Labor. You know, we're going to get you an unbelievable amount of renewable power in just the next 8 years.
Australia's electricity market will be 82% renewable under the policies of an Albanese Labor government.
82% renewable. Now, I'm not going to blind you with figures, but let me just tell you how crazy that is. Right now, forget 82%, we have just 29% of our electricity from renewables. And a fifth of that is from hydroelectricity, dams. You think Labor's going to be building new dams? Not on your Nelly. Nor is it likely to get something up like new hydrogen schemes, you know, get them running at scale anytime soon. So that means basically more solar, more wind. In fact, Labor wants to triple what we've got already. Triple it. So in the next 8 years, for every wind and solar farm you see out there, it's going to build 2 more. For every solar panel on a roof, it will add 2 more. How much is that going to cost, do you think? And tens of billions are going to have to be spent hooking up all these new generators that are going to pop up all around the country. Wires everywhere. Labor says it's going to cost another $20 billion. Guaranteed to be more, say the experts. Guaranteed. The costs all passed on to you. And as this unreliable power grows, more coal-fired power stations will be forced to close. More backup power will have to be built because you can't turn a coal-fired power station on and off. It's going to have to be gas or something else. And somehow this huge unreliable power system will also have to be stabilised. The costs are going to be amazing. And there will probably be power shortages here too. And for what? All that pain for zero gain to the climate. No, the climate wars have not ended at all.